onto some nerd news and network.
Yes.
A bit of a shorter amount of nerdy news,
Mm.
but some rather large pieces of news, I would suggest.
Yes, pretty
Um,
chunky bits.
Starting off with Batman Part 2, the sequel to Matt Reeves' critically acclaimed The Batman,
Mm.
was due to come out October 25.
It was.
It has now been delayed until October 2026. According to Deadline, this was due to the script not being ready as a result of the strike for better workers' rights.
Well, I was
It
very sad at
sucks.
the end. Yeah, I was very sad from the initial news, and I was like, no. But then when it like came out as to why, I was like, okay, at least it's a valid, very valid
Well,
reason.
as a general rule, I'm not like anti delays in like the same vehement
No.
way that some people are. Like, I get sometimes they're necessary, but there is always like a concern with a delay. It's
Yes.
like, right, why are we delaying?
Yeah.
And to see that this is about something that we predicted while the strikes were
Mm-hmm.
going on, we were like, stuff's going to be delayed. It just is.
Yep.
It's not a massive surprise that this is taken a hit as a result of that.
Well, yeah, we know Matt Reeves obviously is a big part of the writing thing. He will have stopped, and obviously all the writers stopped. And it's like that project will have halted. And I think also because it's a DC Elseworlds or whatever we're calling them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elseworld chair.
There's not necessarily the pressure of it like has to get back on schedule. So there's like a push. Like obviously
Yeah,
the DCU stuff, they had a schedule this like it shifted a bit, but they're gonna still want to obviously hit these marks. With that, it's like, okay, Matt can be like, nah, I need more time. Obviously, I wasn't able to do this, right? Like they're probably fine with it.
yeah. A number of people on
Yeah.
the internet have been absolute weirdos, claiming
Okay.
it's a James Gunn ploy to try and get rid of Matt Reeves' Batman universe so that the DCU Batman is the only Batman.
No.
Um, Once again, people talking out their absolute arse who don't know
Yeah.
anything.
Considering
James Gunn
James,
has been so like vocally positive about Matt Reeves
yeah,
stuff and has kind of given him permission to do whatever the fuck he
yeah,
wants.
he's given him essentially first refusal on anything that isn't DCU related to like Batman. So it's like,
Yeah.
why? No, this is not pushing him
It,
away. If anything, this is him going, yeah, take as long as you need.
yeah.
I want this to be the best like follow up project
Yeah.
ever.
Exactly. It's so funny.
Oh, honestly.
Marvel.
Mm.
I have some thoughts on this, as I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear.
Well, I hear we're getting Eternals 2, right? Finally.
Marvel
Yeah.
are planning to take less risks and do what works for guaranteed hits.
Can I just can we rephrase that? Bob Iger is planning to take less risks and do what works.
Robert Downey Jr. was the largest risk in Hollywood history. What are we talking about, folks? What are we talking? Marvel was built on risks.
Yeah, but there was no money then, and so it wasn't a risk.
I saw people talking about how Phase 4 was full of risks and people bitched and moaned, and that's why it's not worked. Like fuck was it? Where were the risks? I've been sitting here throughout Phase 4 going, they're trying to follow the formula. Where show me the risks. You know that Jerry Maguire like showed me the money? Show me the risks. What risks are they talking about? Because I'll be honest, to me, this reads as we want to stop making the leads of our movie not straight white men. That's what that reads as. Because that's the only actual difference in risk level in Phase 4 compared to 1, 2, and 3. The face of every film hasn't been a straight white man.
See, the take less risks and do what works. We know this has actually come from Bob Iger.
Yeah.
It's as simple as we've said it a few times when it's come to him. We know he wants to sell to Apple. We've said it before. What makes the best chance of him selling to Apple? Making the books look good, making Disney look profitable. What's going to hurt that? MCU having films that don't necessarily do as well as these other like huge ones. It happens. Doesn't mean they're bad films. He sees risk as, oh, Eternals didn't do as well as Endgame. That's a risk to do another one. I want these big profit making Marvel films. Keep it simpler, please. Make me money. I want to sell this business. And I think the fact that like we've had word, I'm pretty sure that Kevin Feige wanted to make Eternals 2. And this is like, I'm using Eternals because this is one of the ones that's been used as an example as what's been cancelled. But like Bob Iger didn't want, he wants him to move away from these riskier Marvel films. In other words, less chance of making a profit because maybe the first one didn't do so well.
Like, can we just be completely clear about something? Eternals coming around COVID, yeah,
Oh, there's
had
so many things that affected
one
it.
of the most diverse casts we've ever seen, and was directed by an Asian woman. That is one of the most diverse casts you're realistically going to get in a film with this larger budget.
Yep.
It's still made over 400 million.
Oh, yeah, it still did well.
And people are realizing every day that it was better than people gave it credit for. It's a really good film, and I will die on that fucking hill. Why is this the kind of film that's getting a chopping blocks? The Marvels, again, when it came out on Disney Plus, I saw a bunch of people who went, "Why were you guys lying and saying this was bad? I finally watched it. This thing is gas."
Yeah.
Stop getting your opinions from Twitter. Go and see the fucking thing yourself. And if you've not gone to see it yourself, shut the fuck up until you have. I am sick, so sick of people. And like we could be accused of being part of the problem, but we also sit here after everything and say, go watch it yourself and form your own opinion.
Yeah.
But imagine seeing people saying they don't like something and just going, it's bad. And then you just decide it's bad because people have said it's bad instead of going to see it. I don't get it. Especially when you're then watching it on Disney Plus 4 months, 6 months later, whatever, and going, oh shit, this was lit. Cool. You've already tanked the film that has 3 women leads, or 4 women leads, and was really, really good. The chemistry was some of the best chemistry we've seen in the MCU in ages. And now we're not going to get a Captain Marvel 3. What are we talking about here? Bob Iger, you should be ashamed of yourself.
It's what has always been a struggle in all the big studios is execs, like creativity gets like limited by the execs wants to make a profit. Marvel, let's be honest, from phase 1 had full freedom because the execs were like, oh, you're trying something, it seems to be working, we're going to just let you keep kind of building this thing. It's not that big yet that we're interested to focus on it. That's like, because Iron Man 1 was meant to be it. Like, there wasn't any expectation it was going to go further than that. And then it kept building all the way to Endgame. And it was like, and then as soon as it's wavered, the execs have gone, oh, hang on, you were making us loads of money. What's gone wrong here? We need to step in and control this. And it's like, I do worry a bit that I don't think Kevin will walk away from this because it is like his child that he's built. But I think it's the more and more interference, there comes a point where like he's gonna step away from it. And I think maybe he's gonna run out this set of phases up to bringing the X-Men and stuff in. But there's gonna reach a point where like if Disney keeps stopping him making all these threads he wants to build out, he's just gonna be like, I can't build the thing. I can't make the films that I want to be able to make anymore.
Yeah.
Which then hurts the whole MCU.
I'm really curious to see how he thinks this works. The entirety of Marvel is built on taking risks. I don't understand how they can claim they know what works and is a guaranteed hit. This genuinely reads as Bob Iger going, yeah, get them women and non-white people out here. That's what this reads as.
Do you know what? It's like, it's almost like the issues people give for these films that don't necessarily hit the ground running. Ant-Man, for example, was a VFX issue. Visually, a lot of people didn't like it and that put them off. We find out that's because they weren't really paying staff properly and making them crunch and weren't giving them the adequate time. It's almost like he refuses to like oh, there's solutions to make these riskier films work, but we don't want to put the money into that. Um, we don't care what your reasons are for not wanting to see the film. We just see the numbers. And then it's like, oh, we write it off immediately. Like without even
Yeah.
trying to figure out how they can make the MCU films better so they aren't a risk anymore. It, it all comes back to execs caring more about money than they do about the product.
Yeah, I don't care if it sounds egotistical. Give me the resources that Bob Iger has. I will give you good Marvel projects. I will give you diversity. And anyone who dares to say the word woke to me will get punched in the face.
Just get Bob Iger out.
I'm sick of it. More Marvel news, but we really
Hmm.
don't know a lot about this.
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter says X-Men 97 writer Bo DeMaio has been fired and won't do any press for season 1 or return for future seasons. Much speculation as to why, but nothing has been confirmed. So I did see a quote earlier that I didn't get a chance to write down from
Okay.
someone at Marvel who
Okay.
said they were very happy with his excellent writing on seasons 1 and 2, and that was about it. That is giving very much indications that this was not a Marvel decision, but a Disney decision.
Hmm. This feels like he's done something that Disney feels is not in what a Disney employee should be doing image, whether that is some of these things that are being speculated, whether it's something outside of like social media and outside of his work he's got up to. And it's like he's done something to break contract for him to be fired so suddenly.
Yeah, it is worth noting he's got rid of all of his social media as this
Mm,
news broke. I don't know if that's just 'cause he's like, this is going to be a whirlwind and I don't want to deal with it, or what. But there is just like, it's very rare that someone leaves such a high profile project with 7 days until it's
mm.
released and you hear nothing.
Yeah, it's when we know what Disney's like with their actors for contracts and how they're meant to present themselves in the public light. I imagine there's a certain degree of that on all Disney staff because of the company that Disney is and the image that they represent. I can only speculate that like something he's done has crossed a line they feel and that warrants them to break contracts and fire him.
Yeah.
In this day and age, and with the people we know in charge at Disney, it could be basically nothing but their aged mentality, shall we say, uh,
Hmm.
could have influenced it. Who knows? I'm
Absolutely.
sure something's eventually going to come out from this, but
It's one of them things like you can't have someone this high profile get released, and no matter how many NDAs have been signed, someone's going to say something,
yeah, it's
and it
gonna
will get
some
leaked.
leaks gonna come out. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is really really curious.
Mm.
Venom 3, which is due to come out in October this year,
Mm.
has apparently been given a full title:
Yep.
Venom: The Last Dance.
Sorry, is this Michael Jordan?
He's not fought Spider-Man.
Do you know what's funny? After this got announced, the memes of, huh, they saw what Joker's doing for number 2 of a musical, so they're going the same route, and it's going to be Venom dancing down the streets doing a musical.
Like, that might be one of the worst titles I've ever heard.
It may like I don't really understand because it's like you say, he's not fought Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is.
Um, and I mean, the way that it was left, obviously, we know after Spider-Man No Way Home, he was there, then he got sent back. I presume it's like he's going to want to try and figure out how the fuck to get back, or he's going to go find his Spider-Man, if there is
I,
one.
I don't know. Because they didn't interact. There wasn't even like a scene of him going, "Gosh, that guy looks like a tool" or anything. Like he's got no reason to hate Spider-Man.
Yeah, all he did was see him on the news.
Yeah, I have
That's-
no idea. I have no fucking clue. I can only assume it's going to be some kind of like null symbiote god final battle.
Maybe.
But even then, I just don't think that puts butts in seats.
I wonder. Like I think whatever the story, I don't think it's going to be as bad as some of the other Sony Spider-Man things because they've done an okay job with the Venom stuff. It's not been the best, but considering they've not had a Spider-Man to work with, like they've done an okay job. I think if they're sticking with what they're like, keeping it all within that, they might do an okay job. I would love if they're calling it Last Dance. It's not actually properly named this. Maybe they'd actually change it last minute, but it's like this is ends with him making it into the MCU world, and they're essentially handing Venom off to Marvel to use. And I'd be like, okay, cool, yeah, do that. Let them have it now and run with it, and at least your films then somewhat become relevant. But yeah,
Crazy. And then to wrap up,
Mm,
Oppenheimer has cleaned
it
up. It
has.
has mopped up at the Oscars,
It did.
winning Best Picture, Director, Editing, Lead Actor, Original Score, Cinematography, and Supporting Actor, giving
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy and Robert Downey Jr. their first Oscars
Mm.
as well. Crazy. I mean, not a massive surprise.
No, we knew it was going to mop up. And is this the first film to win at every award, or is it just the first one in ages to win every award of the season?
Oh, what you mean, like Emmys and everything?
Yeah, because like Oppenheimer's
I
mopped up at every
don't
single
know.
one.
I don't know. I assume so to a bit. I feel like Best Picture is probably normally the same film everywhere. No.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if there's like 1 year, like if there's always like one that's been different or something. I don't know.
Mm,
I just feel like it's not a surprise. We saw it coming. They've been like from the get go. We knew they were going to mop up award season.
yeah, I mean, rightfully so as well. The film
Yeah,
did phenomenally well. It's not easy in the modern age to get loads of like $1 billion worth of people to go sit down and watch a 3-hour film about the atomic bomb being made.
yeah. I want to say,
Um,
RDJ's acceptance speech gave me big Tony Stark vibes. with
really,
with the way that he just like jokingly thanked things and like made jokes about everything. It was very much like, oh, this feels like Tony Stark accepting an award. It's which shows like he was the perfect, like it comes back to we know he was the perfect cast, but yeah. It
yeah,
was it's very cool to see him finally get some recognition for his work.
it was indeed, and that does wrap up the Nerd News Network from us.